all due respect, I do feel like we can play with anybody. I really do.
Back toward the wall. Gone! Cubs win.
For me and for us, I feel strongly about our group, but we got to prove it.
Cubs sweep. Wednesday Night Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by DraftKings, a Comcast cooler bag. Tonight's giveaway as the Cardinals and Cubs wrap up this 4-game series here inside beautiful Wrigley Field. Great to have you with us, Jim DeShays and Len Casper. We're just going to play one tonight after the Cubs swept the Cardinals in a doubleheader yesterday. And we have to talk some starting pitching, JD. The last 9 games, the Cubs have won 7 times, largely due to their starting pitching.
Yeah, well, 2 things. A magician showing up in the clubhouse in New York, we can't forget about that. And then the pitchers have made the opponent's bats disappear. It's been an unbelievable run. Remember, they allowed just 1 run in that 3-game set. In New York since then, they've continued to pitch outstanding baseball. Jason Hamill's been among the toughest to hit in all of baseball. Clayton Richard making his first start in the big leagues in 2 years. Outstanding. Kyle Hendricks, back-to-back shutout starts for him. John Lester has an ERA of about $1.07 over his last 5 starts. Jake Arrieta about $1.17 over his last 4, and on we go. Spot start for Dallas Beeler yesterday. He took a shutout into the 6th inning. So the last 9 games, the Cubs 7-2. That starting pitcher's ERA 1.34, the best in Major League Baseball in that stretch.
And tonight we have a great matchup on the mound, an all-star named Michael Wacha for the Cardinals, and it will be the veteran Jason Hamill for the Cubs. Cubs trying to win this series. If they get it tonight, it'll be 3 out of 4. Maybe the duck was good luck. Maybe the wrong helmet for Jonathan Herrera. Whatever it was, the Cubs were able to sweep yesterday and a chance to win the series tonight.
West Indiana Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
First pitch coming up momentarily here at Wrigley Field on Comcast Sportsnet as the Cubs and Cardinals wrap up this 4-game set. Chris Bowden next to the Cubs dugout with you. And it's not just Cubs-Cards night tonight. It is also Ask Len and JD night on Facebook, on CSN Chicago's Facebook page. Fans can ask our guys questions throughout the night, and that's exactly what they have been doing already. As you take a look at some of them that have come in on CSN Chicago's Facebook page, filling it up. And our first one of the night, guys, comes from Jody Madigan. Of course, the big story prior to the game is the fact that Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo will, in fact, be partaking in the home run derby Monday night in Cincinnati. And Jody Madigan wants to know, do you think Chris Bryant should participate? I guess it also applies to Anthony Rizzo as well. Should participate in that home run derby? We know they're going to, but should they?
Chris, I'm distracted by the what's the deal with Ovaltine?
Bosco.
I'm totally fine with Bryant and Rizzo doing the derby.
Yeah, especially because they changed the format, right? There may be fewer swings. I know people are concerned because, famously Bobby Abreu, I think it was, just had a horrific second half after the home run derby. But I think if guys are smart about it, they should be fine. I don't think there's a ton of precedents to suggest that that's bad for you. A few isolated instances.
So because it's in Cincinnati, does that help in that regard? That you really shouldn't have to overswing?
Yeah, maybe, right? Just a nice smooth swing on it with their power. Should be fun. I'm actually looking forward to it because that event over the past few years has gotten a little tedious, but with the new format, it should be more fun to watch.
So the Cubs take the field behind veteran Jason Hammel. He's had some issues with this Cardinal lineup here the last few years. The starting lineup for St. Louis brought to you by Southwest. Tommy Pham has started every game since coming up from the minor leagues on Friday. Matt Carpenter is playing second. Colton Wong dealing with some possible concussion issues. More on that later. Peralta, Hayward, Molina, and Reynolds in the middle. Randall Grichuk plays left. Matt Holliday, he's iffy to come back off the DL before the All-Star break. Dan Johnson, he just showed up today from AAA. He'll play first. And Michael Wacha, the pitcher, will hit ninth.
Cubs on defense tonight. Chris Coughlin will play left. Fowler center. Jorge Soler right. Brian Castro, Russell Rizzo third to first. Montero behind the plate. Our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jason Hammel. And boy, what a year he's having. Just one better than 500, but could be a whole lot better than that. He's pitched to a 2.89 ERA. Just tremendous numbers across the board. League hitting 212 against him. And he's only walked 18 while striking out 104. 1-1 here at home with a 225 earned run average.
Get the umpires. Pat Holberg gets the plate. The crew chief is Ted Barrett at first. Chris Conroy at second. And Angel Hernandez is over at third. So we heard about rain. The tarp was on the field. Cubs got here late. Did not hit on the field after a long day at the ballpark yesterday. We may get rain later, but we're okay now.
Well, one of those days after a long doubleheader, show and go. Don't get to the ballpark too early. And Jason Hammel, in his last start against the Cardinals on the previous road trip, dealt with a bunch of rain. He pitched an inning and then had to wait out a 1 hour and 43-minute rain delay, resumed, and got knocked out of that ball game pretty early. Started to elevate in the fourth inning, gave up some doubles. But that was a rare one. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 8 of his last 11 starts.
So we sit here on July 8th. After this ball game, the Cubs and Cardinals will not see each other again until September the 7th. So almost 2 months. And who knows where these two teams will be? They may be in the same position. But the pennant race will have heated up for sure as Pham pops it up. That's Castro in the grass for the out. Weather heating up, I suppose. 60 when we started game 1, 58 game 2 yesterday, 63, and it's muggy.
Yeah, it's
Heavy
weird.
air.
It's damp. Yeah, it's the wind's not blowing as hard today as it did yesterday. It's kind of cool. It kind of gets in your bones a little bit if you're an old guy like me.
So Matt Carpenter playing some second base in this series because Colton Wong banged his head on the turf, making a diving catch. And yesterday, Carpenter playing second base for the first time since the 2013 World Series. Wong will have some more tests tomorrow. We had heard between games yesterday that he passed the concussion tests, but then Mike Matheny clarified after the game that is not necessarily the case. So we do not expect to see Wong at all in the game tonight. And he'll have further tests tomorrow in Pittsburgh. 2-1 on Carpenter.
Carpenter's versatility allows the Cardinals to call Johnson up to play some first base, and Carpenter can slide over to second. Mark Reynolds to third. Jason in his career has not had success against St. Louis. 1-3 with a 6.57 ERA. He's made 5 starts against them.
Hard on the ground, but right to Rizzo, who scoops it up. And that is the second out. It'll bring up Johnny Peralta. 9 for 22 with 2 home runs against Hamill. Peralta getting better as his career has advanced. 8 years with Cleveland, OPS of 751. 4 years with Detroit, 764. Second year with St. Louis, 789.
That led their club in home runs last year. He's among the top offensive shortstops in the league again this year.
See if Rizzo has a play. Russell over there as well, and it's out of play. Let's go back to the Wong diving grab, and it's subtle. And I think we learned years ago. Remember Corey Koski had that one where it was almost like whiplash. He didn't really hit his head. It was kind of a jarring play. So that didn't look that bad,
it didn't
right?
look like much.
But it doesn't take much. And his manager, Mike Matheny, knows all too well because his career ended due to concussions in the aftermath. So they have a protocol. I guess MLB will ultimately have to clear him in order to come back. Almost got him on the hands, 2-2. I'm sure the answer is I don't know, but do you ever remember suffering a concussion?
No. No, I never really recall having anything that would have made you guess that perhaps I had a concussion.
Well, that's for you to say.
Well, sometimes I wish I could use it as an excuse.
Right. Peralta swings and misses. Hamill goes 1-2-3 in the first. Here come the Cubs offensively against Michael Wacha. The knock. Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Dexter Fowler in the leadoff spot. Rizzo, Bryant, the two All-Stars. Jorge Soler's been hitting rockets all over the place. Castro, Montero, Coghlan, and then Jason Hammel, the pitcher. Addison Russell, the second baseman. Michael Wacha taking very little time here. He's ready to go. And it's 1-1 on Fowler. 6'6", 210 All-Star Michael Wacha.
Pitching like he knows there's rain coming.
Swing and a miss. Easy gas at 96 on that four-seamer.
Yeah, he'll max out at 97, sit comfortably around 93. Throwing harder this year than he did last. He's made 16 starts. He's 10 up, 3 down, with a 2.66 earned run average.
I have a feeling he spent, was it Monday night, watching Burley and Sale. Just missed 97 and maybe a little low. Winds and fires, and it's fouled away.
Oof, 98. He is firm here tonight. Best secondary pitch is probably his changeup. He also throws a cutter and a curve.
Fowler in the top 5 in the National League. 52 runs scored. And he draws a walk to start the bottom of the first.
And Dexter showing signs of life. Last 2 or 3 days. Had a nice day yesterday in the doubleheader. Finally got some at bats from the right side, his better side. First game of the series, it's pretty good ABs as well.
So Rizzo and Bryant will participate in the home run derby. And each derby participant gets to choose his pitcher. Anthony Rizzo has chosen Franklin Font, longtime member of the Cubs staff. There's Frankie. And what an honor it is for him. Chris Bryant has chosen his father, Mike.
Oh, that's neat.
Really cool. 1-1. First Cubs since Sammy Sosa in 2004 to participate.
So it's a bracket format now, right? Kind of a mano-a-mano, and then they work their way through the bracket.
I trust that that's correct. I skimmed the story a few days ago, but had I known the Cubs would have 2 participants, I would have
do your due diligence.
would have studied.
Able to handicap it for us. Albert Pujols is going to participate.
They're going to have timed rounds. I like that. Because as you said, it got a little too tedious. Instead of a set number of outs, they'll get 5 minutes to hit as many homers as possible. I like that. And a bounce to Johnson. They get 1. Thought he might step on the bag and throw to second, but he decided to make sure he got Fowler.
Yeah, it looked like he contemplated that, didn't it? It looked like he was going to make a move to first base, then thought better of it. And off to second he went to get the force on Fowler.
First Cubs rookie third baseman to make the All-Star team. First rookie at any position since Kosuke Fukudome and Giovanni Soto in 2008. Fouled back. If you look at Michael Wacha and you say he reminds me of Adam Wainwright, well, you're not alone. A lot of people mistake him for Wainwright. In fact, one spring training, his own manager, Mike Matheny, thought it was Wainwright. And I suppose in some ways He has to be Adam Wainwright this year because Wainwright's hurt. That's a strike.
Yeah, he's kind of the next in line, right? Chris Carpenter to Adam Wainwright. Now Michael Wacha stepping to the front. He's just 24 years of age.
Short lead by Rizzo. And the 0-2 just off the corner.
Pat Holberg is the home plate umpire tonight. He was at first base last night. He ejected Manus after a borderline call down the first baseline. Seth Manus took umbrage, was ejected. And Walker clearly not happy with the strike zone here.
And I believe we mentioned it last night, but we'll re-clarify. That play was not subject to replay review because the call was made in front of the first base umpire. Fair foul calls can only be reviewed once it gets into the outfield beyond the base umpire. Outside. Let's check out that ball. Now, because it hit the ground before it got to the bag, it's where the ball is when it goes past the bag. It was deemed to have gone over the base as Bryant strikes out, and kind of a troubling scene right now, JD. Clayton Richard is warming up in the Cubs bullpen. Joe Maddon now out to talk to Pat Holberg. What's going on?
I don't know.
We like Clayton Richard, but worried that Jason Hamill might be hurt. Jorge Soler hits another ball hard, but this one will be caught. And I think Joe may have told Pat Holberg because of an injury, and they may give Richard as much time as he needs. So we'll update you when we come back in a second.
Cubs and Cardinals scoreless going into the second inning. We'll get back to the action in just a moment. Chris Bowden with you. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk over the last series against the Cardinals, both in St. Louis and here, about the Cubs making the effort to try and reach the very high bar that the Cardinals have set, not only organizationally, but just trying to beat them on the field. And it wasn't too long ago that Joe Maddon's ex-team in Tampa was trying to do exactly that in a very competitive American League East. I asked him before the game when he thought that moment came that they could play with the likes of the Red Sox and the Yankees.
2008. 2 fights. One in spring training with the Yankees, one during the season with the Red Sox. Both could be considered seminal moments, and both the first one was with the Yankees in spring training. That was the one that really guided us through the season, I thought. I'm not advocating fighting to earn your moment. I'm just always talk about earning the right to be heard. Nobody's going to give you status. You have to take it, and that's so basically we had to take it there. We have to take it here. Nobody's going to give you anything. This division is really good. Even the teams that are behind us are really good.
And the Cubs looking to take 3 of 4 in this series from the Cardinals, but in order to do it, they'll have to get through themselves an early pitching change, I see. Len, JD, back to you guys.
Chris, thank you. It looks like it might be a leg issue of some kind, possibly back, but that Carpenter at bat, he went over to cover first, and he winced.
Yeah, right from the get-go, as he planted and started to run, something was grabbing.
So we will update you when we find out from the Cubs clubhouse what the issue is, but they didn't want to take any chances, and here is Clayton Richard.
Well, a chance for Clayton to be a hero. He made his first major league start in better than 2 years here the other day and performed very well. 6 1/3, allowed 8 hits, 2 runs, struck out 4. Worked his way back from a couple surgeries.
Richard to Hayward. And we called strike. Fastball at 88. We saw him right around 90, 91 the other night. He's a Midwesterner. He's from Lafayette, Indiana. Went to McCutcheon High. 8th round pick of the White Sox out of the University of Michigan in 2005. He was Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball in Indiana in high school. First player ever to garner both accolades in the state of Indiana. And one year he beat out to Jeff Samardzija for Mr. Football in 2002.
That's pretty good, isn't it, when you're Mr. something in 2 different sports?
Well, Mr. Basketball is kind of the big one in Indiana, but outside 1 and 2.
Always been about movement and location for Richard, not an overpowering guy.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Low 3/4 arm angle there. Slide ball to get Hayward.
Big leg kick, 1-0 pitch, lined into center. First hit of the ball game. Yadier Molina with a 1-out base hit. And here comes Mark Reynolds.
You look at the Cardinals lineup. Now that there's a lefty on the mound, I don't know that it would look a whole lot differently if Mike Matheny knew Richard was going to start this ball game. Maybe Scruggs would be in there for Johnson. Would probably be the only change.
Well, I will say that based on their record this year, based on the numbers, you'd rather have a righty or a lefty than a righty against them. Two balls, no strikes. Line hard, foul, and maybe less than a foot. Cardinals against right-handers lead the majors at 46-19. They are 8-11, 21st best record in baseball against lefties. Left hamstring tightness is the reason Jason Hamill had to leave. Reynolds backed out of the way. I don't know how
selling
far
it a little bit.
Was.
Selling it. Ball was on the corner. Seems to me so far that Pat Holberg is a hitter's umpire. If that indeed proves to be the case, advantage Waka. He's got better stuff than Richard can afford to be a little bit more aggressive over the plate. We'll see how it plays out.
Off the plate in, ball 4. Joe can be fairly aggressive with his bullpen, save for probably Jason Mott, because the Cubs are off tomorrow. While Richard comes out of the bullpen, I think we kind of consider him a second starter tonight. In other words, if he's effective, he can go 6 or 7 innings.
Absolutely, yeah. Working as a starter in the Pirate organization, pitched 6+, 6 1/3 here the other day, so he's good to go.
Randall Grichuk bounces toward third. Bryant to Russell. To Rizzo, safe at first. Joe may want to look at it.
Ted Barrett, the first base umpire, looked to me like he was getting ready to ring him up and then signaled safe.
I think he was safe.
I think you got it right, yeah. Yep.
Runners now at first and third. And here's Dan Johnson, just selected from AAA Memphis. 35 years old, parts of 9 major league seasons, some time in Japan as well. Well traveled. And Joe Maddon, I'm sure, has a soft spot in his heart for Dan Johnson, because the final day of the 2011 season, he helped save the Rays and get them into the playoffs. You may recall against the Yankees, he hit a dramatic pinch hit, game tying, 2-out, 2-strike homer in the bottom of the 9th to keep the Rays alive. They won that game in extras and then edged out the Red Sox for the wild card. Two balls, no strikes. And my claim, JD, is that the next Cubs book, the first chapter will be the final day of the 2011 season. And it'll be the Red Sox and the whole deal. Because the Red Sox not getting into the playoffs, think about the chain of events that led to. What was it, 6 weeks later, Theo Epstein became the president of baseball operations for the Chicago Cubs. One bounced foul. Now I believe you watched that day. Chris Carpenter pitch a complete game.
That in
help the Cardinals. A crazy day, final day of the season. "3-2, little pop up. Castro can't get it. Dan Johnson knocks in the first run as Molina scores. Just parachuted one out into shallow right center.
Well, they overloaded that side of the infield, but Johnson just able to muscle it beyond the reach of Castro. You see Russell in pursuit as well. Ball just didn't hang up long enough for either guy to get underneath and make a play. Soft contact, but effective for Johnson. He picks up his first RBI, first knock as a Cardinal, and first as a National Leaguer.
It'll get Walker to the plate. Career 101 batter. Outside, ball one. Base hit right field. Grichuk is in. 2-0. Fourth RBI of the year for Walker.
Not an easy assignment for Richard. Emergency duty out of the bullpen here, but he's got to find a way to start getting the ball down.
Pham making his 7th consecutive start since being recalled from AAA Memphis last Friday. Missed the corner. 2-0. Richard was a college quarterback at Michigan. He was a backup, and he ultimately chose baseball after failing to become the starting QB. Beaten out for the #1 job as a sophomore. Chad Henne won it, and Richard decided to pick baseball, and it's worked out well for him.
Good to have options.
Just 15 attempts as the backup for the Wolverines in 2004. Call as the runners took off on the 3-2. Now they're loaded. Comes Chris Bosio before Matt Carpenter bats.
You never know how a ball game's going to play out, but you just have to know that it's typically very difficult to score against Michael Walker. So this is a huge confrontation here with the bases loaded and Carpenter out, even though it's only the 2nd inning, down 2 already.
It's our AT&T Uverse multi-view. As you said last night, Bosio's trips to the mound have largely been successful, although Jason Mott, after the nightcap last night, was asked, what did you guys talk about? And Mott basically said, I have no idea. I don't remember.
Yeah, most of those guys don't. Those closers, late inning guys, meetings at the mound, they have very little recall. They're just full of adrenaline.
I think he said,
they just nod. Yep, good, right. good. Let's go. Move on.
He said, what are you going to throw here? And I said, fastball. Usually with Jason Mott, it's how hard are you going to throw it. Strike one on Carpenter.
It's starting to rain.
Very lightly.
How about those numbers with the bases loaded? Good grief.
By the way, we think Jason Hamill's hamstring was barking before the first inning even started. Oh, 2 to Carpenter, fouled off. He was taking his warm-up tosses, getting ready to start the ball game, and kind of grabbed the back of his leg. Right there. Maybe he just couldn't get loose. Yeah, he kind of buckled a little bit. Caught by Rizzo to end the inning. But the Cardinals get a couple. With the emergency reliever, Richard, 2-0 early.
Game here at beautiful Wrigley Field. The Phillies, Rockies, Giants, and Brewers kick off the second half of the season here at the friendly confines. Don't wait until the last minute. Secure your seats today at Cubs.com.
It's raining. We heard it might, and we heard it might rain for a while, but we're playing. Let's see how long we can continue on before any sort of interruption.
Once the game starts, the decision to continue or not is in the hands of the umpires. The Cubs knew that Jason Hamill was going to be hurt this early in the ball game, or hurt at all. They might not have minded a rain out.
Swing and a miss. Worried a little bit about Castro's hammy last night. on one swing and miss. And he got through it, stayed in the game, and right back in there tonight.
He's using his cooler for a hat, for a rain hat.
Swing and a miss to make it 1-2.
Walker setting the tone here early on two fronts. One, just pounding with fastballs and working very quickly, wasting no time between pitches.
Just turned 24 on July the 1st. Manager's selection to his first All-Star team. Breaking ball popped into right. Hayward has it.
Ooh. Some raindrops there.
I don't know if he saw it very well.
You get peering up into the lights, and you got some raindrops to go along with it. Ball can get a little fuzzy on you.
Foul tip by Montero. By the way, may I do a little baseball 101?
Yep.
I've heard this a few times lately, not by you, just by other people in various spots. A foul tip by definition has to be caught cleanly by the catcher. There's no such thing as a foul tip off the mask. Foul tip by design is treated exactly like a swing and a miss. You can call it a foul tick, foul whatever, but a foul tip, TIP, by definition, is treated like a swing and a miss. Like
there you
that
go.
Right there. That's a foul tip. The textbook and only definition of said baseball term. So you want to impress your friends, don't say, yeah, he took a foul tip off the knee.
Yeah, so you can go to the restaurant and go, oh, the sirloin tip. And did you know that a foul tip?
Okay, thank you.
We were kids on the Sandlot. We used to always argue, swing and a miss. No, I ticked it. I ticked it.
Right?
Usually end up in some kind of a fight. Somebody go home crying, bloodied nose.
Yeah. 1-0 on Chris Coghlan. Over the last month, since June 7th, he leads the team in average on base percentage, doubles, and walks. Hit hard. That deflects off Walker's glove. Picked up by Carpenter. They get the out 1-4-3. Walker able to slow it down and keep it out of center field, and it's 2-0 St. Louis on a rainy night on the north side. Title run as CSN brings you all 16 playoff wins over 5 days. A championship journey presented by ChevyDriveChicago.com and your Chevy dealers. Begins Sunday night at 7. For schedule information, visit CSNChicago.com.
Don't let those fries get wet. Unless you're pouring brown gravy on them.
Right. I'm not a gravy guy. You?
Yeah, I am a gravy guy.
Richard trying to settle in after facing 8 Cardinal hitters in the second.
He's made some mistakes up in the zone. Needs to get that fastball down a little bit. Make sure he does his work inside on these right-handed hitters. Get that cutter in on their knuckles. Make them respect both sides of the plate.
Well, hit to deep left. Coughlin right near the well, and he has just enough room to make the catch.
A split finger pitch that drifts into the swing of Peralta. It's always dangerous when that, whether it's a split or changeup, when it starts to float in from a lefty in on a righty, bad things often happen. He got away with it there.
One ball, no strikes. Hayward had 4 hits combined in the doubleheader yesterday. 383 in 12 games against the Cubs. 263 versus the rest of the league.
Struck out swinging first time up. He's had a lot of very good at-bats in this series. He's got off to a horrific start for the Cardinals, but really turned it on here the last month or so.
Bounce to Russell, short throw to Rizzo for the out. Molina with the first hit of the game and the first run in the second. Always known for his defense, but you may go back to the first few years of his career. He was not a big-time offensive performer. First 3 seasons combined, he hit .238. But since 2007, he's been a .295 hitter. I remember just being wowed by how great he was behind the plate, but just wasn't sure if he was going to be an offensive force. Well, he is. And has been for a while. Richard goes 1-2-3 here in the third. Cubs trail 2-0.
3rd, Tuesday, August 11th. The Cubs are offering tickets to Girl Scouts and their family members to watch the Cubs host the Milwaukee Brewers. Included with the game ticket, all participants receive a commemorative Cubs-themed scout patch. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com/special events.
Drizzly July night here at Wrigley Field. Swinging strike on Clayton Richard.
How about that for a double cross? Walker's been attacking everybody with heaters. The opposing pitcher gets up there and he drops a hook on him. 16 lifetime, 198 at bats. He's hit one long ball.
Outside. Richard pretty smart, valedictorian of his senior class. A good athlete, smart guy. He was pretty popular in Lafayette.
Oh my goodness.
Hit that one hard.
It's like a fictional character. Mr. Football, Mr. Baseball, valedictorian.
And named after the Lone Ranger, Clayton Moore.
There you go. Who is that masked man?
Into the upper deck. Key game-tying RBI single in the 7th. That was the ball that went over first base. And game 2 last night.
Yeah, it's been a really rough go for him. And Joe Maddon after the game saying, boy, maybe that can pick up his spirits a little bit, get him going. I'm anxious to see the post All-Star break Addison Russell, because what happens in this game, especially for a young player, it's inertia. You just get on this treadmill, come into the ballpark every day, and when things are going good, it's great, and you're lighthearted and you're having fun. When you're scuffling, it can really beat you down, and the break may really get things, allow him to kind of kick back and sort things out, come back with a fresh perspective, and perhaps go on a tear.
Yeah, this grind of a baseball season is relentless.
Yeah, and when you're playing well, it doesn't feel like a grind. Excited to come to the ballpark, looking forward to it every day. When you're struggling, it's like, man, who am I going to get tonight? How am I going to can I get anything done against this guy?
Strike 3 called.
To his credit, he has not let it affect him defensively.
Fly ball to left. Drifting is Grichuk. And the Cubs are finished in the 3rd, trailing 2-0. 10th, an extra innings show featuring Fitz and the Tantrums from inside the ballpark. Bleacher fans 21 and older will get an extra innings concert koozie presented by Budweiser. The post-game show is open to all game attendees. For more info, visit Cubs.com. Mark Reynolds for the Cardinals here in the fourth. He walked his first time up. Ball one from Richard. Some guys who've been pretty cold here as of late. Reynolds did homer in the first game yesterday, but batting 127 over his last 16 games. Matt Carpenter hitting 151 during that same stretch.
The Cardinals have not been a really good offensive club. They're 10th in the league in runs scored. Pitching has led the way.
Ask Len and JD on Facebook night here on CSN. So we look forward to all the fun and insightful and offbeat questions. How about one right now?
Sure, why not?
Look at those two guys. From John Wall, what is the craziest thing to happen during a game that wasn't on the field? Always wondered what you guys see that we don't. That's a good question. I'll let you take that first.
Man, I remember this time this lady was sending a text. Craziest thing to happen off the field?
Like off camera, I think, yeah. And so Reynolds will have extra bases. Soler with a tricky footing, and now Reynolds on his way to third, and he's going to have a triple. A standing one at that.
I think Soler got fooled a little bit by this ball and then had to adjust his route to try to cut it off. Was never able to do that. And then a little difficulty picking it up, and Reynolds all the way to third base. A little different angle. Perhaps Soler cuts it off. It likely was going to be a double anyway, but an extra 90 feet for Reynolds, and now the infield comes in.
Pitch to Grichuk is in there for a strike. So I guess just to quickly answer John's question as we check out this triple. Yeah, a lot of things go on behind the scenes. There's funny things in the booth. We write each other little funny notes or whatever about something we see. Try to make each other laugh.
Yeah,
you know.
I wish I could come up with just an uproarious anecdote for you, John.
I know after the game I'll remember, oh, I should have told that story. I think we had a streaker once, didn't we? Right before you came here? Was it Miami?
I saw a streaker here when I was working for the Astros. And they walked the guy right through the stands behind home plate.
Yeah, that's not something we would generally show on television. That's not something I really enjoyed watching myself.
Had a lengthy bee delay in San Diego once a few years ago.
Spelling bee, not actual bees.
Buzzing bees.
Oh, 1-2. My favorite such story involved Ron Santo. We'll get the run in. And then some. Extra bases for Grichuk. He'll try for three. Back-to-back triples. It's 3-0.
Grichuk had been scuffling as well, but he's very aggressive. He swings and misses a lot, but he can handle the ball out over the plate. He drives this one to right center. He can really go too.
It's his 6th triple already.
I think Clayton's going to have to start to straighten up some of these right-handed hitters.
Johnson takes the pitch inside. 3 infielders to the right of second, and they're all playing in. Yeah, Ron Santos' first radio game back in 1990. Tom Brenneman and Bob Brenly. As they were going on the air to start his first ever Cubs broadcast, he spilled his coffee all over his scorecard. And the first words he uttered were expletives. Ground ball through. Johnson 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs in his Cardinal debut.
His task made easier there with the infield drawn in. Solid contact. Castro had a chance to knock it down, just couldn't quite secure it. See Grichuk there reading the play, sees it through, comes on home.
Still nobody out. 3 straight hits. Now Waka. Ryan expecting a bunt. He squares and bunts through it.
That was a great story about Ronnie when his hairpiece caught on fire at Shea Stadium.
Yeah, he was not a big fan of that ballpark.
They're getting ready to do the open, and there was overhead heaters. And next thing you know, you smell smoke. Ronnie's hairpiece is on fire.
Peter Gammons with us later. He'll conduct the 7th inning stretch. We've got the big Hot Stove Cool Music event tomorrow night at Metro, starring Eddie Vedder, Max Nielsen, Kurt Morrison, Matt Spiegel stopping by the booth. Waka with a base hit. He's 2 for 2. How about the 8 and 9 hitters in the Cardinal lineup? They're combined 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs.
Well, and Reynolds in the 6-hole walk triple. Grichuk reaching a fielder's choice tripled. Chris Bosio going to the bat phone.
Back-to-back triples and now consecutive singles. The knees for a strike. Now you're coming over tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check out the show. It's going to be rocking. And then the White Sox come in starting Friday afternoon. Big weekend here at Wrigley Field. Travis Wood gets loose. Top to third. Brian only has 1 play, and he gets Pham at first. Second and third, 1 out.
As good as a bunt for Pham, and now Carpenter up there again with a chance to do damage. Left the bases loaded last time he was up, and he hit the ball sharply, lined out to Rizzo at first. Field in.
Runner trying to score. Throw to the plate. Out. They got Dan Johnson. 2 down. Back at a third. Fielder's choice for Carpenter.
Johnson going on contact. Rizzo playing in. Nice accurate throw. Montero with the tag.
Now Peralta will get the intentional free pass. They'll go after Hayward with the bases loaded. Ball 2. I guess the good news for Jason Hamill, he's got the All-Star break now, whatever is going on with the hamstring, and we hope that it was more precautionary than anything else.
Yeah, and if it was just, the announcement was that it was hamstring tightness. Hopefully that's all it is, and that, that's probably why let's just get him out of there before he blows it out and becomes an extended deal. And I think Joe's going to bring Travis Wood into this ball game.
To know on Hayward. Cardinals trying to get out of here with a 2-2 split. They won Monday night. The Cubs swept them yesterday. First time they had swept the Cardinals in a doubleheader since 1992. It was their first doubleheader sweep of anybody since 2008. Don't play a lot anymore, but 1 or 2 makeups a year. 2-1. If it's raining, it's very, very light. Pretty much has stopped. 2-2.
Got a little greedy there. Pulled off a little bit. Front side leak a little bit on him.
Russell will come in. And that's the inning. A couple more for the Cardinals. And they now lead 4-0 midway in the 4th. The Cubs battle the Sox at 120 in the first 5,000 kids. Get a color your own Cubs insulated lunch bag presented by Vienna Beef. Then right after the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger with wristbands will be allowed on the field to run the bases, weather permitting. For more info, it's Cubs.com. When's the last time you get out the box of crayons?
It's been a while.
It's fun. Every once in a while, you go to a breakfast place and you've got the kids menu with the crayons. I'll pull it out. Sure.
I wasn't very skilled.
Really?
Crayon. Yeah.
Hard time staying inside the lines.
Yeah, just going all over the place. I think it's a left-handed thing. Crayons were designed for right-handed people.
Right. Pitch to Anthony Rizzo. Michael Wacha with a seemingly comfortable 4-0 lead here in the fourth inning.
Second time through, he's mixing it up a little bit. First pitch changeup for Rizzo. It's all fastballs in the early going. Here's a breaking pitch at 76. He's not allowed a hit yet. Leadoff walk to Fowler, the only base runner he has allowed.
So Rizzo has now been hit by 18 pitches. It took him 82 games to set the modern day single season club record. Pretty remarkable. Most of the shots have been just glancing blows. The worst one was in St. Louis in late June when he got hit by John Lackey in the forearm. He doesn't want to wear an elbow guard, doesn't feel that comfortable doing it, and he's not going to back off the plate because that change has coincided with him becoming an MVP type offensive player.
It's reminiscent of Don Baylor back in the day. Baylor got hit all the time. He would not yield. He was right up on top of the plate. He knew it was going to happen. He didn't make a big beef out of it. And Anthony doesn't either. There are times we can tell he's clearly frustrated when he's questioning the pitcher's intent. But the bottom line is he is so dangerous, and being right up on top of the plate, they have no choice. The smart ones, the good ones, are going to push back. And I don't mean drill them. I mean they're just going to pitch hard inside. There's a tenacity to Anthony Rizzo's game that's really impressive.
Yep.
I like watching him when he's on the bases. He's always clapping, cheering his guys on. I mean, he's all in, man.
Cubs without a hit through 3. In fact, the only base runner they had was the very first one Wacha faced. That was Dexter Fowler, who walked in the opening inning. Two. He's run it full. 0-2 to 3-2. Down the right field line and out of play.
Good battle here between two elite players. One of the best pitchers, one of the best hitters in the league.
And a base hit. There's the first Cubs hit. And all-star teammates Michael Wacha and Anthony Rizzo. You just saw what you were talking
Let's
about.
go, boys. They came to the ballpark today. They swept the doubleheader yesterday. Had a chance to take 3 out of 4. Jason Hamill on the mound, and he's been so good. They knew they were up against it with Wacha, so there's probably an intensity and edge in the dugout before first pitch that I imagine has dissipated a fair bit. Down 4, and Jason having to lead the game. I think Anthony's saying, let's go, boys. We're not out of this.
Bryant sends one out into deep right center, and it'll get down. Rizzo toward third. Gary Jones is sending him. Bryant on his way to third. It's a triple. And they're on the board. It's 4-1.
4-1 at number 2, 90 feet away with nobody outs. The Cubs get in on the triples game. Yeah, an appreciative manager there with a fist bump for Rizzo. I've said it a lot this year. Chris Bryant, an all-star, deservedly so. I think there's a lot more in there. When he starts driving the ball out there to center and right center, you're going to see the home runs really start to come.
It's his third triple and his 50th RBI.
Cardinals will keep the infield back
against Jorge Soler. So no such thing as a gimme, but as close to it as it gets. Runner at third, nobody out, infield back.
When he's looking for a ground ball will go cutter. He gets swings and misses at his changeup a high percentage of the time. And Walker, that and Molina, you're thinking punch out here.
Soler is 3 for 15 since his return from the DL. But as you pointed out last night, he's probably had better at bats than any of his teammates this week.
Yeah, there's been a lot of line drives jumping off that bat. He just hit him at people.
Two and two, Castro on deck. If Waka does strike out Soler, the Cardinals may bring their infield in. We're not there yet.
That was the one with the powered changeup. He was hoping to get a swing and miss on, and Soler with a good take. Fights off 97. As hard as Soler hits the ball, if Matheny were to tell his infielders to come in, they might balk at him. But no, we're good. We're good back here, Skip. Especially on the left side.
Big strikeout for Waka.
Just a pretty good battle put up by Soler. Perfect execution with that changeup. Sells it so well. It's a great arm speed. There you see the grip. Turns it over a little bit. Instead of 97, you get 89.
We'll leave the infield back with a 3-run lead.
In this situation now, and to me, this is the key guy in the sequence, the one-out batter. The sacrifice fly is still in play. The infield is still back. You've really got to be willing to cut down your swing to make sure you put the ball in play. Took a big hack there. Now with one strike, got to be a little shorter.
1-1. Rizzo singled after a long at bat to start the inning. Bryant tripled him home. Soler struck out, and now Castro behind 1-2. Waka was born in Iowa City, Iowa, but went to high school in Texarkana, Texas. Then on to Texas A&M. First round pick, 2012. He was not drafted out of high school. I always find that interesting. Guys who are first rounders out of college who don't even get drafted as 18-year-olds. What a late growth spurt. That'll get the run in, and Walker not covering, so Castro's safe. That's a big mistake by the pitcher, and it's 4-2.
Well, we got ourselves a ball game all of a sudden.
Walker got caught watching.
Ground ball was going to get the run home, and Castro gets the bonus. And Walker late to react.
So it had to happen to you before. Does you just lock up for half a second?
Well, I think a lot of times too, is especially now with this shifting is going on. Second baseman are playing on the pull side, first baseman are playing way off the base, and if you don't look and you don't remind yourself, because sometimes you read the ball off the bat and you go, that's a ground ball to second. And even though you're trained to break on anything to the right side, something kicks in that says that I'm not going to be needed on this play. This is going to be a 4-3 put out. But you have to you do it about 155,000 times in spring training. Ball on the ground, right side of the infield. You got to start and then read the play, and if they've got a covered stop. He's got a guy on third. He's focusing on trying to prevent that run from scoring. Not a physical error, but clearly a mental error.
So 2 in, still only 1 out. And Montero swings and misses.
My bigger issue is falling a little bit off to the third base side and not being particularly fleet of foot. So if there was a speedy guy going down the line, he might just flat beat me.
Wouldn't even matter if you did all you could to get over there. Walker missed 68 games last year with a shoulder stress reaction, and he came back in September, made a handful of appearances. He was on their playoff roster, did not pitch in the division series, but he did pitch out of the pen in the NLCS, and he gave up the series ending 3-run homer in San Francisco to Travis Ishikawa in the bottom of the ninth. That was his first appearance in almost 3 weeks. Very interesting move to put him in that spot.
Yeah.
Was the NLCS MVP the year before. Backhanded play, Carpenter, and they'll turn it 4-6-3 to end the inning. Carpenter back at second base for the first time in a couple of years, and a nifty start of that turn. Cubs get 2, however, and now trail 4-2.
About in the 5th. Hello, Patrick Mooney. He's our Cubs insider all season long on Comcast Sportsnet. Brought to you by nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
Here's Travis Wood, Clayton Richard. But 4 runs on 7 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout in his 3 innings, 74 pitches. He labored at times, and now it's Travis Wood. If you just joined us, Jason Hamill had tightness in his left hamstring, and he had to exit after a 1-2-3 top of the 1st. Molina, Reynolds, and Grichuk. Pirates lead the Padres late 3-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs are 3 games back of the Pirates for 2nd. Pittsburgh looking for its 5th consecutive win. Brewers over the Braves 6-5 earlier today in Milwaukee. A couple of homers for Carlos Gomez. Soft liner right to Addison Russell. Mets over the Giants 4-1. That's a final. Giants snapped their 7-game losing streak last night. Jacob deGrom today for the Mets. 8 shutout innings.
He's an all-star.
Hard to explain, right? The Mets get swept in a 3-game series at home to the Cubs last week, and then they go to L.A. in 2 out of 3, and then do the same thing in San Francisco. It's baseball.
Yeah. Well, and when you pitch, you're always in it, right? They pitch really well. Pitched well against the Cubs. Cubs just pitched better.
Mets scored 1 run in that 3-game sweep. Cubs beat them 1-0, 2-0, and 6-1.
Yeah, and as we were leaving town, I listened to a little bit of Terry Collins' press conference. It was interesting because Terry, early in his managerial career, had the reputation of being kind of a hot-blooded guy and very intense, and maybe a little too intense at times. And he was just saying, "Man, my guys need to lighten up. You got to find a way to have some fun."
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Don't miss your chance to catch the best matchups in baseball. Reserve your place in line for history in the making. Join the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waitlist.
No yawning, please.
Grichuk reached on a fielder's choice, later tripled, and has scored twice.
Chris had that soundbite beginning of the ball game from Joe Maddon about the seminal moments when he was with the Rays and how they, in terms of trying to compete with the Yankees and the Red Sox in the AL East when he's over there in Tampa. And he referenced a couple of brawls they had, one in spring training with the Yankees, how he thought he really brought his team together. It's always hard to quantify the value of moments in a baseball season, whether it's a fight or a big come from behind win. You hear, players will talk about it, managers will talk about it. This is going to be a jumping off point for us. Again, I'm not sure how much stock I put in it, but this is the kind of game, right? If you come back and win this one.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. Your starter has to exit early. You're facing Michael Wacha. You get down 4-0. You go, we're going to have to use 5 relievers just to get through this game. So it feels like a loss. And then now all of a sudden you go, well, wait a minute.
If you rescue it, and it's, we talk so often about how it's an everyday business and everyday, today very much like yesterday and a lot like tomorrow is going to be. Some wins lift you up a little bit more, and some losses knock you down a little bit more than your standard issue 7-2 Tuesday night loss. You blow a big game late.
Well, I also think for a manager there may be benchmarks in a season that he can maybe use with his players to say, come on guys, remember what we did on July 8th? It's one thing to say it. It's nice to be able to do it every once in a while to kind of fall back on too.
Yeah, and the old adage is that momentum in baseball is tomorrow night's starting pitcher, and I still think that's the most important thing. But I do think when you get onto a little bit of a roll and you're winning, you come to the ballpark, everybody's in a little better mood. Can't hurt, right?
Right. Maybe we don't know how much it helps, but it definitely cannot hurt.
Most people are more productive at their workplace when they feel good about things.
Held upstairs by Johnson. A very productive ball game in his Cardinal debut. Long run here for Castro on the shift, and it hit the guide wire anyway. So we'll do it again.
That was a cool sound effect, by the way.
It was. That's the one thing Joe worries about a little bit with the shift like this. Not so much the ground ball the other way, but it's that foul pop-up and having a guy on that side of the field. And Castro's the guy. He's really good at catching pop-ups. So you don't want to let a ball drop foul that could be caught because you're over-shifting too much.
And because when you shift the way you're shifting right here, it's because the spray charts tell you that Dan Johnson hardly ever is going to hit the ball on the ground to the left side. So he's more likely to hit a little pop-up in a shallow left or into foul territory than he would a ground ball on that side.
2-2. Strike 3 call to end the inning. Couple of punch outs for Travis Wood in the 5th. David Kaplan right after the break was a Facebook question for us.
Yes. Will be a starting pitcher, a power hitter, or a utility player.
Okay, if it's one or the other. Position player, pitcher.
Well, clearly they've been talking about pitching, right? They've been talking about trying to add depth to the rotation. So that would probably be the most likely move. But I think all these things are in play. I like, the reference to Ben Zobrist. Joe Maddon loves Zobrist. He is so versatile. He'd be a perfect fit on this ball club. Depends on the price. How much of that future are you willing to mortgage?
Yeah, Johnny Cueto, Cole Hamels sounds really enticing, doesn't it? But then it's like, okay, but give us this guy, this guy, this guy. I don't know.
We talk a lot about the need for a fifth starter. Just about everybody in baseball has that issue.
Waka to Johnson.
So I guess that's the question. Are you looking for a fifth starter, a guy who can just upgrade the back end of your rotation? Or are you looking at a guy who's a frontline starting pitcher who can just make it that much better in the pitching department? Pitching has not been a problem for the Chicago Cubs. Starting pitching has not. They've been really good, among the best in all of baseball, and of late, the best in baseball.
Rare plate appearance for a starter converted into a reliever. A guy who had been a perennial Silver Slugger candidate. He's got a streak on the line. A 5-year streak to start his career with at least one home run each season. A little more difficult to extend it this season. So he hit one in 2010, 2011, 2012, 3 each of the last 2 years. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Punch out number 5 for Waka. Driven the other way. Hayward, though, will make the play. Russell out. And the Cubs' 5th inning is complete. It's 4-2 St. Louis.
The game, airfare accommodations a player meet and greet, and more. Brought to you by Sports Authority, the official sporting goods retailer of your Chicago Cubs. Sweepstakes ends July 13th. See store for official rules.
Big crowd here tonight. You got a downpour in the early innings. Fortunately, that stopped. The Cubs are only down a couple here. Up to the bullpen to keep the Cardinals close. Not yet retired. The pitcher, Waka, he's 2 for 2 with an RBI.
Travis Wood working his second inning. Couple strikeouts and a walk in the top of the 5th for Wood.
Congrats, Iowa right-hander Carlos Pimentel in the Pacific Coast League Player of the Month for June. 4-1 with an 0.95 in 5 starts. The I-Cubs, 25 years old. He was also the Cubs minor league pitcher of the month for June. Waka strikes out on a foul tip. I tipped it. Yeah, you did, right with the glove.
Third strikeout for Wood.
Down the line. A lot of hang time, though. How about Starlin Castro through the bullpen? I'm telling you, he's as good as any middle infielder. He's got great range on those pop flies. About as far as you can go as a shortstop to make a catch in the outfield.
We're going to get a good look at it here. You see where he starts and how far he has to go. Our Xfinity high-speed action. Takes one peek down to get a sense of where he is on the field. He knows he's coming close to those bullpen mounds. Beautiful.
2 outs and a strike on Matt Carpenter.
Travis Wood was the winning pitcher in the second game of the doubleheader yesterday. Worked a scoreless inning.
Strike 3. So he's got 4 punch outs. Carpenter not so sure, but his opinion doesn't matter. 4-2 Cards in the 6th. Hashtag Northside Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Walker back to work. Strike one on Fowler. These two teams have scored their runs in pairs. 2 for the Cards in the second, 2 more in the fourth. Cubs answered with a deuce in the fourth. Chopper foul. Reds and Nationals postponed. Do not have a makeup date just yet. Nationals probably better off not playing Cincinnati tonight. They're 0-5 against them this season.
Where are they, in Cincinnati?
Washington.
Pirates looking to close out the Padres lead 5-2 in the ninth. They've been playing at a very high level for an extended period of time now, those Pirates.
Alex Gordon had to leave the Royals game tonight. Sprained left groin. Took an awkward step in the outfield.
Strained his groin. It was interesting. Fowler fouled that ball off his foot, and Molina was going to go out and talk to the pitcher Walker just to give Fowler a little time. And Fowler tapped him and said, "I'm good to go."
Sportsmanship. Just over second base.
Still hurting though. I guess it may be a shin burger.
Recently dealt with an ankle issue. Everybody's got some bumps and scrapes though. 80-some games into the season. So leadoff man is on. And here's Rizzo. Worked hard through his 4th inning at bat. Led off that inning with a single and would score on the Bryant triple. Pulled into right. Fowler less than 100% in that bad wheel. But he can only advance one. First and second, nobody out.
Change up. Stayed up a little bit. So a lengthy at bat, ending in a base hit last time. Here he jumps on that first pitch. Pulls a base hit into right.
We'll see some action in the Cardinal bullpen.
And a little buzz in the ballpark now. Fans starting to get into it. Sensing a big opportunity here with Bryant, who tripled last time up.
Him up. Infield fly rule in effect as Carpenter grabs it. Rich Harris is the righty and Randy Choate the left-hander.
Choate doesn't pitch every day, but he gets up most days, doesn't he? There's not many Cardinal games we play where you don't see Randy Choate at least warm up. That pitch moved in on the hands of Bryant and induced the weak pop-up.
Jorge Soler, the pitch. Held on the screen.
You got a pitch right there. 92-mile-an-hour cutter. He was right on it.
2-1. Well, I mentioned it. Pat Holberg has not been giving that corner tonight. And it wasn't a strike. Walker making just his second career start in this ballpark.
Definitely pitching very cautiously here to Soler. If you recall the start of the game, Walker was on the attack, and it was 96, 97. I think we saw at least one 98 from him. Get to this stage of the game, you're throwing a lot of pitches. The hitters have seen all your stuff. Just nibbling a little bit here.
Back to the mound, but off his foot. Everybody's safe. Walker in a bit of an awkward position there. Could not grab the ball with his glove. The bases are loaded for Starlin Castro.
Well, actually got in on Soler a little bit. He didn't hit it with the fat part of the bat. Walker not in good fielding position. Infield hit Soler.
Matheny has not made any sort of motion to the bullpen. He's going to leave Walker in, at least for now. I don't know if that's sweat on that jersey or it's wet from the rain earlier, but looks like he's working up quite a lather. This feels like could be the moment of the ball game. Cubs down 2. They have the bases loaded with 1 out.
Walker obviously starting to run out of gas. You can just see it in his delivery, forcing it a little bit. Not as clean as he was at the start of the game.
In the air, Hayward will not have a play.
Talked earlier about Walker's probably his best ground ball pitch is the cut fastball. And knowing Castro's ground ball tendencies, that may be ultimately the game plan. Cut her away, try to get him to roll over on one.
He went 1-2. It's Ted Barrett at first. No argument from Starlin. He's got a good look on this shot. He did. Yep. Here comes a 1-2. It's high.
He really fell out of that delivery. Front side really flew open. He's vulnerable here.
Strike 3 called. Could not pull the trigger.
Just channeled a fastball. Got on top of that one, got it down, and Starlin probably thinking breaking ball, got fooled by the heater.
It's up to Montero now. Carpenter playing pretty deep at second in the outfield grass. 7. Wacha likely just kind of emptying the tank now.
Well, it seemed to me like he got away from his fastball for a few hitters. Was throwing more cutters. 2 really good heaters in a row here. There's another one. Almost like he's been reminded, oh yeah, I've got this too. Don't forget about number 1.
Lean is back, very light. More like a drizzle. Wacha's 0-2. Ball 1, 1-2. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wacha trying to escape this inning completely without any damage. And Molina will head out.
And as a pitcher, you really, obviously, you always want to put up a 0. But after the conversation with the manager, I'm not sure exactly how it went, but Matheny was out there to check on Wacha's desire to stay in this game. If you kind of sell it to the manager, yeah, I'm good, let me go. You really want to get it done.
3-2.
There's a pitch of the inning right there. He got on top of that one. Just missed. Good job by Montero staying in this count.
Everybody goes with this pitch. The 3-2 on the way. Fouled. Again, a 3-2. Driven out of the right center. This could clear him. Fowler's in. Rizzo scores. Soler. And the Cubs lead. Oh, baby. Miguel Montero.
Boy, how big is that swing of the bat?
And now Yadier Molina's out of the game. Mike Matheny trying to protect him. You missed a pitch, is what he's saying to Pat Holberg.
Yeah, well,
and he's
Matheny.
out.
Holberg will not be on the Christmas card list of the St. Louis Cardinals this year. He's the one that ran Manus last night. Now he's got Molina and Matheny. But what a great at-bat by Montero, fighting his way back. They were shading him. Pham was a little bit towards left field and shallow in center. Hayward a little deep and straightaway in right, so he had some real estate to exploit out there in right center, and boy, did he ever.
Matheny's not
Look at
yet.
Molina. As soon as that ball left the bat, he's not even watching the play. He turns around. He's in Holberg's face. He's yelling at the umpire while the Cub base runners are circling the bases.
Wow. Biggest hit as a Cub for Miguel Montero.
There wasn't a whole lot of noise made after the pitch right here. The borderline pitch. Could have been, but didn't have to be. But once Montero hit the ball into the alley, and Molina immediately got in Holberg's face.
Can't say I've ever seen that too many times in the middle of a play. I mean, what if there had been a play at the plate?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Meantime, I'm a little surprised Walker's going to be allowed to face Coughlin. He's not done.
This pump by Rizzo as Gary Jones sends another one home.
Those guys would have some fun in that dugout. This Coughlin. Cubs lead 5-4. Popped him up. And it's Carpenter. Probably the last pitch for Michael Wacha tonight. Now all of a sudden he could get the loss. We still have a long way to go, however. 7th inning around the corner. Miguel Montero clears him. And it's 5-4 Cubs. Lead 5-4. We get into the 7th and conducting the stretch tonight. One of my favorite people, not only in baseball but in the world, Peter Gammons. Peter, great to have you here. And JD, the best compliment I can pay Mr. Gammons, and there are a lot of great things about him, is his passion for the game of baseball. He's smart, talks to a lot of people, but ultimately it's all about being here at the ballpark. And that's the best compliment I can give you, Peter.
Well, I've been covering regularly since 1972, and I can honestly say I enjoy the game a lot more now than I did then. And people say, well, the players, I watched Chris Bryant play like a 30-year-old Derek Jeter, and with respect for everything and everybody in the game, and I go, please don't tell me there's been a better generation.
That's rare, by the way, to hear someone from your generation talk about guys today in that regard, because too often I think,
yeah,
and I get it.
That's the knee-jerk reaction.
You go back to the guy you grew up
back in the day, yeah.
Travis Wood to Johnny Peralta. Hard hit ball right to Chris Bryant. Yeah, pretty good young crop, right? Trout.
It is, and
right around the big leagues.
Giancarlo Stanton and Carlos Correa.
This Correa kid is out of control.
Yeah. He's got a chance to be one of the great players that ever walked out to shortstop, and it's just amazing. He's an amazing kid. I mean, I don't know how at 16 you take the college boards in Puerto Rico and end up with 1250, but he did it.
Jason Hayward with 1 out. So we're going to go ahead, JD.
I was going to say this is kind of an open-ended question, so maybe not fair, but what has surprised you the most about this baseball season so far?
I think that the power of the game is so much more centered in the central part of the country. I thought for a while, because of the market sizes, it was going to be East Coast, West Coast. And it just isn't that way. There's some things that have happened in the American League Central that Cleveland hasn't played as well as his pitching indicates it should, and Detroit's had a lot of injuries. But the National League Central, to me, I mean, you look at the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Cubs, and you go, I mean, there's no division that has 3 better teams.
Yeah.
And I really believe the Pirates are sleeping giant as well. So
1-2 to Hayward. That'll get back out of play.
I think the other thing going on about the young players is that they've come in. There's so many that are so good, and they play so hard that. Well, to me, this is the year with these players that we've sort of erased that past section of baseball history. It's not really relevant to talk about it anymore.
Nice play, Travis Wood. 2 outs. All right, hot stove cool music. We got our 4th one coming up in Chicago tomorrow, but this goes back many, many years in Boston. I love the idea, and it's really caught on here.
It has, thanks to you.
No. It's a team effort, man.
We're like cousins here. But no, it's really fun, and it's been great. And the Cubs have just been incredible in what they've done to make the foundation be named later work. And, you know, tomorrow we have the game between the kids from 18-year-olds from Boston and the 18-year-olds from the Jackie Robinson West program. They're 2 of the best programs in the country, and part of the future of the game. And we're really happy to be part of that as well.
And strike on Tony Cruz. He's in for the ejected Yadier Molina. Wood with the 0-1. It's in there, and it's 0-2.
Travis Wood has been energized too. He was getting after it here. This is his 3rd inning of work. He's been really sharp.
Did not look good early on. The Cubs were down 4-0. Swing and a miss, but they lead 5-4. Here comes Peter Gammons with the 7th inning stretch.
Take me out to the ball game. Co-host of Hot Stove Cool Music and Hall of Fame baseball writer Peter Gammons.
All right, Cubs fans. 1, 2, 3. Me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever come back, but it's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game. Cubs, let's play 12.
Cubs coming back to Wrigley Field for their Jekyll and Hyde tour. Tickets are on sale now at Cubs.com/Zach Brown Band. Don't miss your chance to see this 3-time Grammy Award-winning band at Wrigley Field.
Mitch Harris against Mike Baxter, pinch hitter. For Travis Wood, who can grab a win tonight.
Our third look at Harris in this series for the year. He's been out there 18 times, pitched to a 3.26 ERA. Mid-90s fastball, slider, split finger pitch.
Outside, and it's 1-1. Do a little rapid fire Facebook Q&A here coming up. This could be the greatest thing we've ever done. Could be a total disaster, but it's live TV, so let's dive in. Ready?
Boiled ham, baby.
Right. Okay.
Are you just cherry picking one?
Yeah. How about Yay Team Cubs Go? It's not a question. Did JD make more Seinfeld references?
Yada, yada, yada.
Okay. Back on WGN. Yeah, we've got a few of those. We get it. When is Tommy LaStella returning? It's been a while. Oblique. Longer than everybody thought it would be. Reynolds! And Johnson able to hang on the bag. They got him.
And they just moved Tommy to the 60-day DL the other day.
Expecting him to be a big part of this thing, and maybe he can be late. Does the computer screen stay on all the time? What? Even with the bet? Oh, I see. What does a video board do? I don't know. I'll have to watch. What's the deal with Ovaltine? You got an answer for that?
Bosco.
What's the routine for players between a day-night doubleheader?
Yesterday they danced after the first game. I asked that question to Otis today. I said, the doubleheader, did the boys have the dance party after the win? I said, yep.
That's deep. And caught by Hayward.
Deep and profound. Almost out, but an out. But a good swing of the bat for Addison Russell. That's a positive sign. Frustrating for him, no doubt. He's now 0-for-3 tonight.
I got a question via Twitter because there's a fan who was not able to be on Facebook. Get to it here in a second. All right, let's see that photo of us. I got a question, but I don't have Facebook. Where's JD's left hand and where's Len's right? All I can say is those aren't pillows. Maybe the funniest line ever, right? Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
Those aren't pillows. About the Bears. Bears are going to be good this year, huh?
Yeah, the rant at the rental car, the lady, that was pretty good too.
That's good. Next time you tell a story, have a point. Makes it so much more interesting for the listener. Thanks to Nicole Bersani for basically taking care of all this stuff here. It's a lot. And we got a ton of questions. And, we appreciate it. Some we can't answer. Like, what's up with Ovaltine? Okay, last one. Claudia, I forgot, what was the reason the Cubs rubbed their helmets after a hit? There was no real reason it started. I think it was Jonathan Herrera and Starlin Castro. One of them did it, and then it just caught on. That's it. There's no like long drawn out story.
If there's a deeper meaning to it, we don't know it. Nobody's sharing it. It's kind of become the thing, and it's about every club has something they do now, right?
Yep.
It was the Shark a couple of years ago, and the Pirates had that kind of inverted Z. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Ground ball. And they get Fowler anyway. May I see your rental agreement? I threw it away.
Viewers watching on Independence Cable in Independence, Iowa. This weekend on CSN, the battle for the Crosstown Cup kicks off with 3 at Wrigley as the Sox and Cubs battle for early bragging rights. Our coverage starts on Friday at 2 with a special 1-hour edition of Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto, right here on Comcast Sports Net.
Let's see if the Cubs can hang on here to a 1-run lead late. 5-4 in the top of the 8th.
What a job by Travis Wood. He's in position for the win.
Good slide piece. 1-1 the count. Rondon, the 4th Cub pitcher tonight. Hamill lifted after 1 due to tight left hamstring. Seven up and out of the zone. 2-2. Cardinals now without their catcher Yadier Molina and their manager Mike Matheny. They both got kicked out in the 6th. Just typical Cardinals Cubs matchup, right?
A lot of tight games.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Beautiful pitch. He's been manipulating the ball a little bit more in recent outings. Good tight slider. We've seen some changeups. Two seamers running in on the right-handed hitters.
Grichuk scored twice. Not a great start to the month of July. 3 for 24. Sokolovich and Choate.
You've got the jump on Grichuk. I think you can spend some time out of the strike zone here.
Wednesday Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball on DraftKings for free using promo code Northside.
Broken bat bouncer. Castro gets rid of it quickly, and he gets him. Nicely done, 2 down.
That pretty play by Castro. He made a very nice play earlier in the ballgame, tracking down a pop foul. This time, ranges out behind second base. Quick exchange to the throwing hand, flips it on over to Rizzo. 2 up, 2 down for Rondon.
Shift against Dan Johnson. Strike 1. Guessing it'll be Pedro Strop in the 9th. Jason Mott had the labor to save the second game last night. They're up to him. He'd be back out there, no doubt. Two and 1.
He allowed 3 hits and a run in the 5-3 win. He did not throw a lot of pitches, however. But he did work both ends of the doubleheader.
Xavier Scruggs is waiting on deck to bat for Harris. Another 3-2 from Rondon. Another foul.
This time Johnson got any real regular playing time in the big leagues was way back in 07 with Oakland. He had 18 home runs that year and 416 at bats.
Swing and a miss. Fist pump from both catcher and pitcher. Rondon strikes out 2 in the 8th. Cubs will bat in the 8th, leading by a run.
Joe Maddon and David Ross.
Yeah, I like that.
And I said it earlier this year. We talk a lot about leadership in this game. I'm a big believer in followership. I don't think that's a word. I'm going to make it up. But when you've got a manager who comes in with his reputation, has a good coaching staff, you have a couple veteran players, you create a culture. It's up to the other guys to fall in line. Because I don't care what kind of character you have in terms of veterans, and if you got bad guys that don't buy in, it's not going to work. The other piece of it is some of that stuff is overrated. It's mostly about having really good players, but it does matter to a degree. And it seems to be a real good mix here. And this guy too, just the way he plays the game. We talked about it earlier. There's a tenacity to his game, an unwillingness to yield that when you watch every day, you really appreciate.
Yeah, I can't add anything more to that. Andy Choate struggled in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. Gave up a single to Jonathan Herrera, RBI double to Fowler, and a 2-run opposite field homer to Rizzo. And I think, for me, one of the best leaders I've seen on a day-to-day basis was a guy who said very little and rarely ever had to get on a teammate. It was Derek Lee. He just showed up every day. He was above average at everything he did. He didn't seem to let anything bother him. And I can tell you, for Joe, guys like Anthony Rizzo, and if he had Derek Lee, he'd say those guys are a dream. Anybody I don't have to bring into my office once a week.
And a lot of it too is there's this idea that it's a veteran guy kind of getting in the face of a young player. More often than not, it's putting an arm around a young guy when he's scuffling and say, hey, it's going to be okay, kid.
Swing and a miss. This time Choate gets him.
Wednesday Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball on DraftKings for free using promo code Northside.
Well, the Cubs coach David Bell, now the bench coach for the Cardinals, meaning he is the acting manager after the ejection of Mike Matheny. Miguel Sokolovic. Weber sauces and seasonings called to the pen. Why grill with anything else? Seasonings called to the pen. And here's righty Miguel Sokolovic.
Good time between the big leagues and AAA, and here at the big league level he's worked 12 times and he's been effective with a 188 earned run average. Had a cameo with the Cubs back in 2012. Also spent a little time with the Orioles. There's a lot of sliders and changeups. To complement a fastball that's a little below average in terms of velocity. Heaves it up there.
Very briefly a Cub. It was in 2012. 6 appearances. This has been a fun one tonight. Did not look promising when we started. Jason Hamill had to leave after 1 inning due to tightness in his hamstring. Clayton Richard struggled in his 3 innings. Travis Wood saved the day.
Yep. Woody was really good here tonight. I imagine Joe Maddon in the 2nd or 3rd inning, as Clayton Richards getting hit around a little bit, was thinking, well, if we just keep it close and maybe get a little something done against the bullpen. I don't think he anticipated inflicting the damage on Walker the way the Cubs did, given the way Walker started this ball game. He was really sharp early, but Cub hitters relentless here tonight, dropping a 5 spot on Walker. Bases clearing double. Montero the key blow, and don't forget the play where Walker forgot to cover first base on the Solera ground ball.
Ball 4.
As Castro hit that ball in the 4th. And Walker was late to cover.
Center. Bryant to third.
Got to be precise in your shifting with Soler because you're not going to have a lot of time to react on that infield. That's when as a pitcher you can try to fool yourself by saying, "Well, I got a ground ball." That ball was smoked.
Big chance for Maddon here. Leading by 1. It'll be Strop in the ninth.
Cardinals playing their middle infielders about halfway in. They'll have an option to try to turn 2 and more slowly hit ground ball charge and still try to make a play on Bryant at home.
Soler takes off. That ball hit to deep left, and it will land foul. Just foul. Boy, wow, Starling hit the ball, right? Barely foul. I thought it was going to be way foul because he didn't get out of the box.
Joe's checking the replay before we play on here. Wow. There's room for what, 2-3 baseballs down there in the corner between the foul line and the wall. I'm going to take a look at it, I think.
So he is challenging the call. Looks foul.
Yeah.
I'm showing it on the big board here, but we have a little bit of a better look.
So when we resume, it'll be no balls, 2 strikes on Castro.
Foul ball. Confirm the call of foul. One and 2.
Cardinal infield is tightened up.
Strike 3. Big strikeout. Sokolovich tries to keep the Cubs right where they are. And Miguel Montero will get a big hand. He gave the Cubs the lead.
And it was after Starlin struck out last time up. Montero delivered the bases clearing double with 2 outs. Chance to pick up his teammate here again.
First and third, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. So 9th inning, it will be a pinch hitter, Pham and Carpenter. On deck. Nobody up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Johnson will play behind Soler at first base.
Soler takes off. Montero misses. Stolen base for Soler. 3-2 count on Montero. Soler with his second career steal.
I'm surprised Johnson didn't shadow him a little bit. Just basically conceding him that base.
Bryant at third, Soler at second. The inning comes to an end, so the Cubs threatened to add on, could not do it. Pedro Strop, save chance, 9th inning, 5-4.
by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball on DraftKings for free using promo code Northside.
Pedro Strop.
Here we go. He does have a couple of saves this year. He's become much more slider reliant this year than last. Pitch an awful lot.
Peter Borges pinch hitting, and he pops it up on the first offering. Castro's got it. Love that.
Settle the nerves a little bit.
Tommy Pham. Joe used the term esprit de corps earlier this year in discussing the chemistry we have alluded to tonight. Again, I don't want to make too much out of it because some of it may be overrated, but I also like the bullpen setup at the moment. Jason Mott's the closer, but he's not. Joe hasn't said it. Joe doesn't need to say it. But those roles have somewhat become more defined over the past few weeks.
Yeah, very interesting comments after the game last night when he talked about his bullpen usage, and he said he likes to spread it out because you want to have multiple options to use. But he said he likes to spread out the emotion of the closer's job. It's such an intense job.
Swing and a miss. Strike three. Yeah, I mean, you're down there. You know, you may get that chance in this big spot. And again, it can't hurt.
And also the mentality that it's not always on you. There's other guys capable of doing it. And, you know, I was a starting pitcher, so I don't know. I did it just a little bit in the minor leagues. But to me, it seems like if you're Pedro Strop, Hector Rondon, Jason Mott, and you've pitched high leverage situations in the 7th and 8th inning, you should be able to do it in the 9th inning. There are guys that will tell you it just feels different in the 9th.
I totally agree with you. Matt Carpenter. 2 outs, 9th inning. What a win this would be. For a lot of reasons. It'd be 3 out of 4 against the first place Cardinals. You were down early 4-0. You lose your starter after 1.
Comeback was started by Anthony Rizzo with a leadoff single in the 4th, and we saw him beckoning to the dugout. Let's go. And they responded. They got to get the 27th out here. Tough out it is in Matt Carpenter, one of the toughest in the league. Going through a downtime right now, but very tough out. Capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but that's not a big part of his game. He's hit 8 this year. And a line drive, doubles type hitter.
Ball 4. Now he's got to get Peralta.
Time for a chat.
Gary Pressey always knows the perfect song to play. It's Hang On Sloopy. You could say Hang On Stropey, I suppose. Pete Kozma is going to run for Carpenter.
They're just looking for upgrade and speed for a guy who can a little better chance of scoring on a double. I don't think Cosmo's going to be looking to steal a base.
Slider at 82, strike one. Peralta 5 out of 13, by far the most at bats of any of the current Cardinals against Pedro Strop.
Good breaking ball hitter, so you can't just go one way with him.
Fifth time they've faced one another this season. Bounced foul. Strike away, 1-2. .37-993. With the weather, the atmosphere, it feels like late September or early October. The kick and the pitch, driven in the air, deep left, Coughlin back, it is gone. A 2-run homer for Johnny Peralta. On a 1-2 pitch.
Absolute kick in the gut. Trying to go down and away with a fastball. Flew open and had a drift up above the belt. That's an impressive swing of the bat by Peralta to get to that high fastball. Oh my.
Ford home run replay. Johnny Peralta. Said it yesterday, he's been their MVP. Certainly among their position players. A 2-out walk. A 2-strike, 2-run homer.
Second time they've broken Stroke's heart. Greg Garcia, pinch hitter, they got him in St. Louis.
Yep. Three and one. Well, the Cubs will have to do it against Trevor Rosenthal in the bottom of the ninth. It's a strike, 3-2. So now we look ahead to the bottom of the ninth. Coughlin, the pitcher's spot, and Russell. Popped him up on the infield. Chris Bryant makes a catch. Johnny Peralta with a 2-run homer. And the Cubs now down a run, 6-5 in the ninth. Peralta. It's all-star Trevor Rosenthal.
Yeah, Rosenthal, boy, what a year he's having. 0.70 ERA, 24 saves and 25 tries. He's allowed just one home run. The league hits 197 against him. We've seen him reach triple digits with that fastball. And has a very good changeup as well. Last year, 70 1/3 innings, allowed 2 home runs. He does not give up a lot of damage.
So it'll be Coghlan, Krista Norfia at the moment. She's on deck. And Russell. And you said it felt like a kick in the gut. But it's not over yet. Here's a pitch. Outside, ball 1. Rosenthal in on the player ballot. Cosma at second. Borges in center. Remember the fact the Cubs had him at first and third, 1 out in the 8th, and could not add that insurance run. 1-2.
Any one-run game, you can always look back and go, if only. And the Cardinals were facing that, and now the Cubs can look back unless they rally here in the 9th. Rue the fact that they didn't cash in there in the 8th.
Full count.
Putting up a good at bat here. He can handle velocity. Got to be ready to hit the heater, of course, with Rosenthal out there.
Hit hard, but right to Peralta.
Approach you got to take, though. Got to pitch. Short, compact swing, just didn't get rewarded. Hit it hard.
One to Denorfia, who's been really good. A couple of DL stints, but when he's been healthy, he's been terrific. And look at what he's done off the bench this season. 7 out of 14. Strike call. 1-1. 98 miles an hour from Trevor Rosenthal.
Keeps making that pitch. That's not going to be what you can do. 98, bottom of the knees, maybe on the corner, maybe off the plate, but he's gotten the call both times.
Another ball hit hard, bobbled by Cosma, and he still got him. What a play! Cosma just came into the game.
Two really good at-bats here by Coughlin and Denorfia. Neither guy able to reach. Slick work by Cosmo, recovering after the initial boot.
Two outs. Cardinals were down to their final strike.
All right, young man, go deep here and they'll name a street after you.
Russell Avenue, 2-0. Well, this is how the rally started for St. Louis, a walk.
Rosenthal making really good pitches down and away to Denorfia, and maybe just getting a little amped up here, 1 out away from finishing it, overthrowing and misfiring. We saw what the consequences of that can be. You love to have the power arms late, but you got to have the precision too. Stay away from damage.
He was trying to tie it right there, 2-1. Dexter Fowler on deck. Three and two.
What a tough moment for a 21-year-old kid. Swing.
Driven out into right center. Borges going after it. He's not going to get it. Russell's going to be in scoring position. How about the kid? A 2-out double.
That's three just outstanding at-bats here by the Cubs off Rosenthal. And they finally get one to fall. Russell, his last at-bat, drove the ball deep to right field. One of his previous at-bats anyway. He's been shooting the ball that way all night. Punched out, then 2 flies to right, and now this double into the alley. And the Cubs have life.
Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, out to talk it over. Fowler will bat with Russell standing at second base. And what do we have going on here?
Oh, they just want to clean the spikes.
Rosenthal wants to clean up the shoes. A little muddy out there. Single tonight and a run. Fowler also walked in the first. 799 career hits going into this plate appearance. Tying run at second. Winning run at the plate. 2 outs, 9th inning. Swinging strike one. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. And the Cardinals steal one tonight. Johnny Peralta with